Welcome
Welcome to
to
Shade
Shade
and the
in the
City.
City.
I'm your girl Treese.
It's Nels.
And today, y'all, we are here to get into The Family or Fiance. It is back, y'all. This is we are still in season 4. This is episode 6, and this is Lakeshia and Darnell. Okay. So yeah, y'all, if you haven't already, please make sure you hit that like button for us.
Make sure you comment. Oh, make sure you hit the subscribe button.
And y'all, I can't wear. And yeah, let's get into it and let's get shady. Oh, baby. Mm-mm. Oh, I'm terrible. I didn't put up a well, I guess you see them in the back, but usually I have a little picture here at the bottom, but it is what it is. So this is Lakeshia and Darnell. Okay. So off the top, my notes say that Darnell has a creepy stare and seems very uninterested in Lakeshia.
And I said it was giving. Look, I said it was giving Angela and Charles.
Yes, yes. It
Mhm.
gives a very, very similar demeanor. So
Mhm.
they met on a Chicago social scene, similar to Angela and Charles. All right. They kept running into each other, and eventually he offered to buy her a drink. And yeah, they've been together ever since.
I think I would have
So
been freaked out by that stare.
yeah. And can you imagine every time you see him, he got that stare, like no other real expression. And he just,
I
yeah,
wouldn't
that
even wanted to drink. I'd have worked. I would have been scared.
I would have
Like,
been because I literally thought that to myself. I was like, So they dated 2 years before he proposed, and her parents didn't know about it, and her dad felt slighted because Darnell didn't come ask for his blessing. And Darnell said that he's just not a traditional guy like that. And that just wasn't a part of his proposal plan. Okay. So then they get to the house and they meet Dr. T Money, T McMillan.
I could
Okay.
not remember what we was calling her.
T McMillan.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
Um,
still wanted to call her Terry.
oh, you're funny. And so basically my notes say he just seems really disconnected from the situation.
Charles.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, Tracy, she wanted to get into the DNA of this relationship. And Lakeisha explains that she just got out of a relationship. She had just got out of a relationship and started going out and then used to run into him weekly. Apparently, he was on the social scene for years, and it might have something to do with the fact that he ain't never been married and he's 56.
Mm.
I
Red
mean,
flag,
I
red
don't I,
flag.
I don't know who wants somebody that's 56 still out clubbing. I mean, but he
No, I
explained.
mean, at least y'all know y'all not having no kids. Like everybody got their kids, everybody did what they do. Like it literally is,
I don't give a damn whether we having kids or not. I don't want you. I don't want you. I don't want you.
mm,
And he explained that he had a group of female friends that used to serve their purpose. I love how Tracy was like, "Oh, you had a harem," is what you're saying, okay? But he said that he brought those numbers down to one because he felt like Lakeisha filled all those boxes.
mm.
That's why you was taking new pics. Okay, whatever. But of course, for Lakeisha, this creates a little distrust. So then she wanted to know how did how did this engagement go? And he said that his friend owns a restaurant, so he did it there with about 20 or 30 of their closest friends, and really none of her family. And apparently, her dad was feeling some type of way, um, and said that they're no longer buddy buddy the way they used to be. So Tracy wanted to know about their upbringing. Lakeisha said that she grew up in a 2-parent household until she was around 12. Her parents got divorced, and her mom packed up and moved to Michigan until ninth grade, and then she moved back to Chicago with her dad. Apparently, her mom was depressed and began using um,
Yeah, she's an alcoholic.
alcoholic and and substances. She started using drugs as well. Apparently,
Oh,
they got
did she? I don't think I caught that part.
yeah. Um, yeah. So, and apparently, they got divorced because her dad was um, also on drugs and was a ladies' man. Now, Darnell said that he grew up in a single parent household. He has 7 siblings, and his mom passed in '88 when he was around 21 or 22. Now, Tracy asked who's coming. Lakeshia said from her side, it'll be her best friend, Aquila, her mom, Donna, and her dad, Michael. And she says she don't know what to think about her mom and dad being in the same space uh, in over 30 years. Darnell said for him, it'll be his sister, Sharonda, his daughter, Natasha, and his son, Phoenix. He has 3 kids. They are 33, 27, and 18. Apparently, his middle son, Brooklyn, is not there. And his son, Phoenix, lives with him. And he feels like it's kind of strange with his daughter, Natasha. She always has something to do that's more important than talking to him, according to him. Lakeshia was given her task, and it's called Give Us the Facts. She's going to sit
You
down
know
with
what I said? It's questions. I'm
yeah,
telling you, it's questions.
I said
We
she gonna
figured
sit
this
down with
out by
Darnell.
episode 3. It's always
It's
questions.
always
It ain't
questions.
nothing different.
I said she's gonna sit down with Darnell's family and she's gonna answer their questions.
Right.
Darnell's task is Tower of Truth. He's gonna sit down with her family and answer questions as well. So Darnell's family gets there. His sister Sharonda said, she's not happy about the relationship between Darnell and Natasha because he's like super dad to Phoenix. Lakeisha's family got there, and they were still salty that they had to find out about the engagement through Lakeisha's best friend, Aquila. So my question is, so that means that Lakeisha didn't even tell them
What?
about the engagement.
Well, that's basically what that means. If they found out unless she posted it, like I would think if that happened and I'm out, the first people that I'm calling before I post it on Facebook or anywhere else is my parents before they find out on social media. Like I just feel like when stuff like that happens, even if other people are recording it or whatever, I would absolutely request, please do not post this until I get a chance to talk to my people, like the people that need to know.
Exactly. Let's see. So when Lakeisha introduced her parents to everybody, her mom made sure to let them know that, homeboy was the ex-husband. Okay. I thought it was funny. She was like, this is my ex-husband. Like, please don't get it twisted. So they set their families down and wanted to know what their concerns were. Phoenix said Lakeshia and Darnell were working on having a better relationship. Natasha said their strained relationship. Sharonda said him getting a better relationship with his kids. Michael said that he's hoping Darnell steps up so that he won't have to, anything to worry about. And her mom said them getting married for the right reasons, especially him. Quill said her trust issues.
I love how she acted like she know what she was like. Girl, what you talking about? Trust
Exactly.
issue.
Like, girl, this is your best friend. She know. Okay.
Right. I think when I watched it, I said, I feel like it was one of those things like, girl, if you gonna call me out, why did you wait till we got here to do it? Type situations. Like, I think that's more how Keisha felt. I think she knew because you saw later on when they talked about it, she was a little bit more receptive. But in that moment, I think she was taken aback that like, you ain't never said this on the phone when we've been on the phone or something like that. You ain't never, and then you wait till we get on good TV and now you questioning you know what I mean? Like that's how it came off to me. That's why she took it the way she did.
And see, to me, it was like they had conversations about it. So
obviously, because she said later on she called her upset and whatever.
Exactly. It's like we had conversations. Yeah, that's my concern. My concern is your trust issues and the fact that you feel the need to keep tabs on him. And I don't give a damn what they said at the end. To me, it's for good reason because we ain't out here just taking news of ourselves just to have. For that, you can look in the mirror every day.
Right.
Talking about I like to look at myself. Child, bye. Look, did you see the way T McMillan laughed? Like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
tell it tell it to your woman because I don't believe it. Okay.
Mm. Well, basically, then we hold on. And did you notice, and what maybe it was just me, and you might have touched on it. I felt like the family, especially his family, when they first walked in, they barely, in my opinion, really greeted them. Like they
Mm-hmm.
walked in the house like, "Oh, this is nice," and then they was like, "Oh, hey y'all,"
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, "Oh, okay." When they walked in the door like that, I said, "Oh, he got some real family issues." When they walk in the door and don't even greet you, and you invited them, y'all got some
Mm-hmm.
real issues. Um, so then we get into we're at the activities portion, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Keisha's first question is why she decided to marry Darnell, or why she's deciding to marry Darnell. And is she concerned about him being a ladies' man? Now, I feel like this might have came from Phoenix, in my opinion. But Keisha said that he's consistent in his behavior and says that she's not worried about his reputation as a ladies' man. And then his son Phoenix, the way he was looking, like a liar. You a lie, a whole lie.
That's what y'all argue about all the time.
Right, right. You forget
He
I
said
live in
they
a house with
argue.
y'all.
He said they argue all the time. It's given. That's what they constantly argue about. Now I don't know
Right.
who she was trying to play for, if it was for the families, but clearly Darnell knows that she got trust issues too, and it's for me, it's giving. You gave her these trust issues.
I was gonna say I was gonna let you finish, but I was like, let's not negate. She may have a reason to feel a little insecure.
After that picture incident. Oh yeah, it's up
It's
and
up
it's
and it's
stuck.
stuck. Okay.
We don't
So
have beef forever.
so Natasha questions, with her having a close relationship with her own father, wasn't she curious why Natasha wasn't around? And Keisha said, well, actually, yeah, I was. I was a little shocked when I learned he had an older daughter. And when I basically said, well, why don't you invite her to come around? He said you were always too busy. And so Natasha can bear this poor baby. I ain't gonna hold you. I cried. Yes, my emotional Pisces ass cried because every time that she went to open her mouth, tears started welling up in her eyes. And I said, that girl has so much pent up emotions, anger. Like it was crazy. She could not speak without crying.
You know what?
Every scene, she was in tears, and it
You know
had
what?
me over here crying. It
In
was
the
crazy.
in the beginning, she was clearly hurt, right?
Mhm,
And I was just like this bad, it's like yes, I know having an absent parent hurts, right? And
mhm,
the disappointment and stuff like that. And I was just like, damn, like this bad, like to the point you're right that she could not speak. But then we find out later on that she didn't feel protected. And I
mm,
was like, okay, it's making a lot more sense now because I feel like when you are in a different household and they see that daddy ain't coming around no more, daddy ain't picking up, daddy said he was gonna come through, he don't even care. Won't nobody else care. So now anything goes and anything can happen to you and nobody will care. And I feel like she was so hurt because she wasn't protected.
mm. Yeah, yeah. So and I love what Natasha says that you know, I want to get to know my dad for myself. I
Hmm.
had never really, I mean, I, obviously grew up with him for a little period, but I don't know who he is as a man, as adult, who he is now. And
Hmm.
so, no, I wasn't interested in trying to be part of this dynamic and play house now that you're here. Because, and
Hmm.
you know what? I will say that I feel like if a man is single and has children and he does get a good woman in his life, most of the time it does take that woman kind of pushing him to be like, you got kids, right? You got kids, right? You
Hmm.
should be worried about your kids.
And see,
Because we know, and we'll forget
wouldn't
about
want
his
no
kids
man.
real quick,
I wouldn't want
especially
no
once he's
man.
not with you.
I don't want no man. I got to do that.
No, I get what you're saying, but again, we know a man, even if it's his child, will act once he's not with you. Complete. This is the perfect example. Once he's not with you and he done moved on, he completely forgot about that little girl.
Mm-hmm.
So, and if it wasn't for, because clearly he hasn't had anyone in his life prior to this that has been on him about what's going on with the relationship with your daughter or the rest of your kids. What's, you know what I mean? Until he found something of value, somebody that, okay, and she came in like, yeah, I'm not cool with a man who ain't got no relationship with his kids.
Is it wrong for me to feel like, now I agree with her that she does need to get to know him on her own, right? Without her being around. But really, he wouldn't want to if it wasn't for this woman. I feel like she should
I
also
was
want
thinking
to,
about that too.
but I feel like she should want to get to know Lakeshia on her own as well.
Well, I think that comes up later. I think Tracy addresses that. I think it was just a point of, yes, I need time with him. Or I think Quill might have pointed out at dinner or something like that. But yeah, to your point, it's because of her that this man is even in this place now where he's ready to be like, you know what, take accountability. So yeah. And I love how Keisha was like, I'm not trying to encroach on that. But they were like, I think once you get more comfortable with your father, then you'll realize there should be no issue being around her. The real issue is you're not comfortable with him. So yeah, you don't want to be in this situation and you're not comfortable.
If I ain't around no more, then he ain't gonna be around his daughter no more. That's why I wouldn't want that on my shoulders. I want you to be a daddy because you want to, not because I came in the picture and I'm forcing you to be.
Right. Exactly. So Natasha said that she grew up as a daddy's girl and then went to, being at her grandmother's house, looking out the window, waiting for him to come, and he never did. So she says that Darnell never called her for birthdays, Christmas. Now, this is what broke my heart. This is when I was in tears. Okay. And he only reached out when it was convenient for him. So Phoenix says,
or seeing him show off for his girlfriend.
Right. So Phoenix says seeing his sister upset made him feel away because he just thought, she was just older, kind of doing her own thing, and they just didn't communicate as much anymore. And I guess because he's younger, he didn't get the real deal. And he got 3 kids. So I wonder because I think the middle one, they said, is named Brooklyn. So it makes me wonder, what's the middle kid doing? Does the middle kid not mess with you either?
Yeah, because they didn't really, we know about the middle kid, but they didn't really.
Yeah, and Phoenix seems like he the only one to have a decent relationship. And I feel like it sounds like they live, like he lives in the house with them. Yeah. But outside of that, it sounds like any kids that don't live with him are out of sight, out of mind.
That's exactly what it sounds.
All right, let's get into Darnell's questions.
All right, so Darnell's first question was, did you not invite Keisha's family due to the lack of relationship you have with your family? I said, oh, we coming out the gate swinging. Okay.
Yeah, they did. I loved it.
Yeah, he said no, and he took responsibility for the things, for things going left because of how he wanted to handle it. He said he thinks that the mom and dad are cool, and her dad said, that it was a really big event in someone's life, and it feels like that the dad should know up front, and he had to find out about it on social media. So they asked him how many baby mamas he has. He said he got 3 with 3 kids. Okay. He said that he does have a strained relationship with his daughter, Natasha. When Brooklyn came along, there was a gap that's never really gotten fixed. And they asked if he feels Keisha had trust issues. And he said that she doesn't have a reason not to trust him. And he mentioned her going through his phone, and the mom and dad, they kind of go back and forth about whether that's appropriate or not. And Quill said that she found some inappropriate things in your phone. Okay.
Right.
And he said that he don't know nothing about that. That would have pissed me off.
You're going to sit and lie like you don't know what I'm talking about.
That would have made me get up and go get Keisha. Oh, for real? You know what? Let me be right back. I'll be right back. Keisha, can you come address this? Because he's talking about he don't know about the time you found pics in his phone.
Well, it was a full body pic, he said. We'll get there when we get there.
Don't you dare.
I'm just playing advocate. I mean,
as usual.
I mean, I'm taking pictures when I feel like the body's body and I'm looking good in my phone of me.
You've taken full body pictures of you naked.
Oh, not naked, but I mean,
She's naked, Treese. It was a nude picture.
maybe in like
Exactly.
lingerie.
That's different. I mean, it can still be questionable. Do you
Yeah,
keep it in your phone? You keep it?
if I look good. Yeah.
But do you send it to your man?
No, not always, not necessarily. I might just look good. That's what I'm saying. I gotta play advocate for old boy. Now, naked is something different, but I've absolutely just kept pictures for myself because I look good. I save it for a rainy day when I do want to send a picture and it might not be current, and I send that one.
See, the good thing about iPhone is it has a hidden album, so this would never surface until you wanted it to.
Oh,
But
oh, we
the
got hidden albums too.
oh, so he was well, I don't know what he had, but he was just dumb and just I think he sent this to somebody. It was a nude picture. I feel like
Well,
you
see,
really
here's
have
my thing. If you go that far and you're going in his phone and you see the picture, to me, if you really feel like he sent it to somebody, you can go through the messages and see if any. You get what I'm saying?
he might have deleted that. He might have been smart
You
enough
know
to at
me. You
least
know
delete
me.
it.
I'm an advocate for going through the trash.
Girl, you can delete the trash too.
Yeah, but most don't. Most was delete and forget to delete the trash. That's where
Yeah.
they mess up.
Well, look, he's been a ladies' man for a very long time, so who knows? Maybe he's smarter than we think, and look, came up with something that you can advocate for.
I'm just saying.
Oh, I was just taking a full body picture because I like to see myself. That wouldn't fly for me. That wouldn't. You got the
Again,
mirror.
I wouldn't have been naked.
You got the mirror. Okay, ain't no need for it to be in your phone where it can be sent. God knows where. Look, it's on the cloud now.
Oh God.
It's in the
Look,
cloud.
that's the only reason I don't know more because I got it's in the cloud.
It's in the cloud now. Shoot, you better look in the mirror.
It's crazy, crazy. So then they sit down for dinner, and Keisha asks, "Well, how did the task go with the family members?" And um, Darnell brings up the questions that came up about her trust issues. So when her mother asked if he thinks if he thinks she does have trust issues, he said, "Yeah." So Quill tells him, "Well, you weren't being honest about what happened last summer." And so he tries to act like he doesn't know what happened. And Quill reminds him, "Well, I got a phone call saying that you was out here basically taking tennis shots. Okay." And so he said, "Nah, nah, nah. It was a full body picture. It wasn't just my member." Okay. And so Mama
I wonder
Donna,
if he would have been able to fly with that too. Oh, I just wanted a closer look. I like the way it looks.
look, and so Mama Donna asked, "Well, did you send it to her?" And he's like, "No." And so Quill shares that, Keisha called her up crying and says that she brought it up because they were discussing trust issues. And she tells Darnell that there's been situations where Keisha doesn't believe anything that comes out of his mouth. And so Keisha says she claims, "I don't have an issue with trust," but says, "I'm not naive to the fact that I can be hurt." And I said, "Girl, that sounds like you have an issue with trust." Trust is hoping, no one expects betrayal, but trust is trusting that someone won't betray you. And if they do, that's no fault of your own. I had to learn that the hard way too. That's no fault of your own. That's them. But still, yeah, if you don't, you're just gonna drive yourself crazy. Anyway, so she said that to put your trust in any human being is setting yourself up for disappointment, and she doesn't see anything wrong with herself. So Keisha tells him that he can be better, and she brings up how his daughter feels the same way, unfortunately. And so she asked Natasha if she's tried talking to her dad, and we saw that, and Natasha told her that basically he kind of avoids her. So Darnell denies this, but Keisha points out, no, that's her truth. That's her truth. Regardless of what you're saying, that little girl is telling you that you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. And she says that she was hurt to hear that, Natasha felt this way about her daddy. So here we go. I'm up here crying again because Natasha at the table crying again. Okay. And Darnell comes over to embrace her, which I said, thank God, because I know one of these episodes, the dude just sat there while his daughter cried. So Natasha says that she wants a better relationship because she's been through so much with men because she didn't have her father. So Quill tells Natasha, I love this too, that although she doesn't know her, she's very proud of her, and she's sure Darnell is as well. And Keisha's father says that if Darnell loves her, then Keisha loves her because that's just who she is. And Quill says, and if Keisha loves her, then they love her too. And then, Darnell even starts to get emotional. And I said, well, it's about time we got more than this
Something.
blank stare. And he admits that, he felt it too. And like I said, at this point, I was crying a river. Okay.
So then Keisha is outside talking to her dad and her best friend. Quilla told her that she really wants her to work on her trust issues and believes that it stems from before she got into the relationship, and believes that she really wanted her parents to work out. Michael told her that she needs to talk to her mom about that because she's the one that did what she did. And Keisha said, well, no, I know that there was some violence. And he denied that and said that she went out of state and got a different place to live behind his back. And her mama heard everything that was going on. She said she heard her name and came over and said that he had plenty warning and he didn't believe anything that she said. Okay. And her mom confirmed that there was some violence. And she said that she had two black eyes and she had to quit her job. Keisha asked him to apologize for that. And he said, are you sorry for taking my baby and moving her to Michigan? I said, oh, he one of those. He one of those.
Oh, he real toxic. He real toxic. As soon as he started opening his mouth.
And then child, and he old too. Like, come on. So then day 2, they met with Tracy. She wants to find out how the task went. Darnell said that it went good. The engagement thing did come up, and he stood 10 toes on the way he did it. He said at dinner, it did get emotional. He did get emotional listening to Natasha. And Tracy explained that there's something that she needs from him that she's never gotten. He got emotional and said that as the relationship was growing apart, it was his job to mend it. And then Keisha says that she spoke with Quill, and Quill doesn't want her to enter into a marriage with these trust issues. And at dinner, his new pick was brought up, and he claims he didn't send it to anybody. He just likes to look at himself and thought that he looked good that day. Tracy told her that her task is to sit down with her parents and talk about her dad's behavior and her mom's alcoholism and how it affects her. And Darnell is to sit down with Dr. Ali to begin building a new relationship with Natasha.
Mm.
Child.
Yeah. So then we see Keisha go and talk to her mama and her daddy, and she addresses her mother's alcoholism. And Donna said that she didn't choose it; it just crept up on her one day. Okay. Keisha acknowledges that she knows she's taking some steps. It gives her things, because obviously she's taking steps towards sobriety. Keisha addresses her dad about his denial and why he said he never put his hands on her mama. And Michael says he didn't say that. He said he never really hurt her. And I was like, oh, wow. He said, I might have slapped her before, and brings up, but she hit me in the head with a flower pot and almost took me out.
This man said, I ain't never put her in the hospital.
He said, no one asked about my feelings. And he feels like as long as he wasn't stomping her into the ground, she should have stayed and fought for that marriage. And I said, sir, read the room. It was awful. And I can see why this image and pedestal she put her dad on faded real quick.
Mm-hmm.
So basically he tells them that, Donna punked out. And so Keisha asked, well, don't you think some of this is from your recreational drug use? And he responds, partially, maybe. Okay. So then they start arguing because apparently mama had a baby, but she said, well, you had a baby first. And so then she's like, see, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I had to grow up with my whole childhood. This is crazy. Okay. So she's like, y'all are the root of the problem. I now realize that y'all are the root of the problem. And she tells her mother, you know what? Please continue to work on yourself. Daddy, I need you to look inward. And so he said, you know what? I can admit I realize now that I might be in denial, and I never realized it. And so he even gives her a secret word to let them know when he needs to stop and listen to himself. And I said, well, that's pretty bad. But you know what? I could applaud, because a lot of people aren't self-aware or don't look inward, right? So I can appreciate that he was able to be like, okay, so we're gonna come up with a word so I can stop and think about that. Don't mean I'm gonna shut up.
Yo, grown ass. I got it. Your child has to tell you when you are out of line.
The children are the future.
Then what the hell are you? You in the future with your old ass. So Darnell and Natasha sat down with Dr. Ali and told her that they're there because there was a gap that he didn't bridge, and it was his responsibility to do so. Natasha said when she was younger, she used to see him all the time, but then when he had her brother, she felt like he forgot all about her. And she admitted to carrying the fact that she believed that it was her fault. She said that she went through a lot without having a father. And she believes that that has what? That had she had his support, she wouldn't have gone through the things that she did. She said around the same time her dad stopped showing up, she started being SA'd, and said that she's never been treated the right way by men. And he said that he didn't know anything about this. Well, of course you wouldn't, because
I was just getting ready to say, of course you wouldn't. And I know, I would hope that would, I mean, it seemed like it made him feel terrible, but it should.
The thing, I mean, I don't know where she was, but that I genuinely feel that, I'm not saying that it can't happen when your dad is showing up, but I think
I agree.
I think that there's a fear of doing it because you are showing up and you are coming around, and there's a chance that you may get snitched on. You know what I'm saying? But if they feel like your daddy don't care,
right?
You know, like
if they feel like you may not be protected, then yeah, they'll
exactly. So that when she said that, I said, oh, okay, this is really why she is hurt so bad, because
absolutely.
Let me see. And Dr. Ali asked him if he thinks that he is distant from his emotions, and he said he believes that he is, because of the way he was raised, because his era little boys didn't cry. They just move into talking about his mom, and he said that she was sick in September and then passed that November. He said if she was around, then none of this would have happened. She would have been babysitting for you. What does that mean?
That's what I was thinking too, and I was like, I'm gonna need you to take a little bit more accountability. It wasn't your mama that was supposed to be around. It was supposed to be you.
Yeah, I was confused. Like, was you expecting her to pick up your slack?
Your slack, because that's what being honest, that's what it gave me too. It gave me the same exact.
So Natasha said her and her father went through a lot of the same stuff emotionally as kids, and feels they can help each other heal. He said he would like to be more hands-on, and told Natasha that he's proud of her. And she said she's happy that he's finally.
It's crazy that she seems like more of the adult.
I feel like
where she's like, I feel like us, we're more, you know what I mean? Like, and I feel like this will help us heal. Like, to me, it's like,
to me,
coming off more as an adult than he is.
I kind of get aggravated with Family or Fiancé, because I feel like that's the one thing that stays consistent in this show is these
ancient
BS fathers, or these distant fathers, and they have to mend their relationship with their children, or these stepfathers that have to mend this relationship. Like, it's just always that. And I feel like every episode, like, we're not getting, okay, the Family or Fiancé, it's not just the fiancés and y'all issues. Y'all ain't shit fathers.
And again, it always takes some woman to bring it to their attention. Literally, we see it all the time. It's always the woman like pushing, You need to have a relationship with your child. And I think that that's crazy. I think the men should come. First of all, how about we come in and not have any issues with our kids because they're good and I've been a
Exactly.
present
And I
father.
feel like that's what's consistent about this show. Every episode that is consistent. It's an issue.
I agree.
With the
I agree.
kids. And I'm not gonna lie, it kind of aggravates me. Like it aggravates me. But like I'm thinking like this is supposed to be an issue between y'all, the family don't like y'all or whatever. And really the family don't like y'all because of the kids. Because of how you treat the kids, because you suck.
Right.
Well, anyways.
Like when his sister didn't have nothing to say, she was like, I ain't really even worried about old girl. It's you. Mm-hmm. It's you.
Yeah. And that's his sister. So you talking about, if my mom was here, sir, she'd have felt the same way your sister does.
I agree with that.
So then in their final session, Keisha said the task with her parents was completely draining. And it was her dad more than her mom. She said that she defended him for so long. Darnell felt like his session went really good and feels that Natasha trusts him as a man, just didn't know him as a father. And she explained to both of them that working on these relationships are going to help them in their relationship. At the blessing ceremony, they got everybody's blessing. They plan on getting married the fall of 2023. So we are 2 years behind-ish.
Right. So I wonder if they actually did get married.
Exactly. Darnell is spending more time with Natasha and they call and text daily. Keisha's mom is staying sober and they speak more frequently, although the relationship with her dad remains strained. She uses their broken strings code word often.
Mm-hmm. Because daddy's ignorant.
Broken.
Okay, ignorant. All right. So yeah, that was this episode of Family or Fiancé. Y'all drop down in the comments. Let us know what you thought. If you have not already, please make sure you hit that like button.
Make sure you comment.
Make sure that you guys subscribe.
And you hit the notification bell.
And make sure you're following us on all the platforms. That's the Blue Sky, IG, TikTok, and the Facebook. And yeah, we will catch you. I guess maybe they're going to come on again tonight. I don't know, but we'll catch you next week for another round. If it come on, another round of Family or Fiancé. And hopefully it won't be another deadbeat dad on here. Okay? We'll see y'all. Have a good weekend. Be safe. Bye-bye.
Good night.